What's up, geeks and gamers? My name is Draymond and welcome to Thorium Gaming. We're back with episode 37 of Light of the Asur, our attempts to stabilize the Great Vortex and stave off the forces of evil and the lizard men, who are enigmatic at best. So last time we were in a pretty big fight. We lost one of our heroes. Phoenix went down to slow down the unnamed Skaven clan that's constantly coming at us. They have 3 army stacks left, but one of them has been slightly mauled. The other one, not so much, and we do, of course, have another one going for the Shrine of Azuran. Shrine of Azuran actually has a decent enough garrison. Probably won't be able to stand up against this, but it can slow them down a little bit and hurt them. So we're going to redirect Sunshine up here to try and take him out after he engages that, because he's probably going to. And then we just got to eliminate these two and hold on for 14 more turns, and we'll have victory in the campaign. We still have Litania and Sheena Yan holding on to the Gain Vale and Toralir. And it's the stuff happening around Lothern that's kind of important right now. We do have a random Lizardman fleet from the last Guardians trying to come ashore. But at this point, it doesn't really matter what they do. All we have to do is hold on. Now, the Ratmen, Clan Pestilence, are very near their final ritual. And of course, the Lore Masters are reclaiming all the cities that we lost. But right now, sacrifices are going to have to be made, because we are so close to finishing it off. Now, there's not a lot we can do for the rest of this turn. We do have me, Vincat, and Fady all getting ready to trash these two armies, and we'll send Sunshine up to deal with this. Grimaldus has finally made it back. He's going to get into combat too. We might send him over to help Sunshine. Wonder where my brain's at today. It's been a long day, so far anyway. We don't really want to upgrade any of our settlements right now because we want to try and hang on to as much of our gold as possible, just in case we have to raise some additional regiments to help us out. Now, there's not much more we can do on this turn, so let's let the other nations do what they're going to do. This could end up turning into a massive fight if they try to engage us. If they engage us at sea, well, the good chaplain is immortal now, so we'll lose the army stack, but we won't lose him. And, of course, I constantly forget about Eolair way down in the south, who's just going around collecting little islands for us. So it's pretty much just hold on and do the best we can. And hopefully the Lore Masters will be able to do something down here to hurt the other Lizardmen factions and maybe go after Clan Pestilence. Not really sure what they're planning, but hopefully it'll be good. And with any luck, we won't have to do anything after our final ritual completes. It is possible, but don't know. Haven't got that far yet. We'll see when it comes down. We've only got 14 turns left, so we'll see how it works out. And it's still up in the air for what we're going to do with the Mortal Empires campaign. I'm really leaning heavily towards the Bretonnians, just for the way that we can work it in and get a whole bunch of you guys and gals in there, because, well, I have a lot more incentive when it's you guys leading the armies and being the heroes and all that sort of stuff to keep you alive, which makes me far less rash and reckless. Leads to a lot more of a strategic campaign than anything else. And the Bretonnians are, of course, my tabletop race, which I've said so many times now, but I just love them. It's Arturic legend with a twist and no Merlin. But that's fine. We got the Fey Enchantress instead, who's like Merlin, minus the beard, the old age, is a lot creepier, floats above the ground, and is a massive spellcaster. So, you know what? I'm willing to make that trade-off. I'll take Morgiana compared to Merlin. And, of course, she's named after, like, I think it was Morgana Pendragon at one point, because Arthur's last name was Pendragon. I think they married. I'm not sure. It's been a long time since I actually read any of the Arturic legend, even though I love the concept of it. So that's a failing on my part. Maybe I'll have to go back and do that at some point, because it's a great story. We could go with the Druki, but I don't really want to play an evil race, and I don't really want to play the elves again, because, well, that's just too much of a good thing, or bad thing in this case, if we go with Druki. And the Wood Elves are, again, while it would be doable with them, that's just more elves. And we're going to be in conflict with them if we play Bretonnia anyway, which means you'll get to see their units. Might even be able to start doing a little bit more customization with the armies that we do, naming some of the regiments in accord with the general that they follow. Oryx Shadow Knights, Phoenix's Knights of the Flame, that sort of stuff, you know, be pretty cool. Not really sure how much of that we can do, but it would be a nice little touch. And then, especially as they gain an experience and reputation, we can start giving them banners. It's one of the few things that is really strikingly different for the Warhammer version of Total War than anything else. You can customize so much in it, and it really makes it so that your playthroughs are your own. Now, there does come a point where it can be a little bit overwhelming to do certain things like that, so definitely be limiting it. But if you guys would like to see any regiment names for them, depending on which faction we end up playing, I am far more than willing to sit there and do it. Oh, and it looks like we're going to get a fight right off the bat. Morphific, Plague Claw Catapult, Hell Pit Abomination, and a lot of Ratmen against Phoenix Guard, Swordmasters, White Lions, Spearmen, Sea Guard, one set of Archers, and some Silver Helms. Sunshine is not immortal yet, though. She is not level 20, but she is on a dragon, so this could go very, very well or very, very poorly. But it doesn't really matter. All we have to do is weaken them as much as we can, and just hold on as best we can for the remaining turns of the campaign. Of course, we don't plan on losing this, but we're going to have to try to do a little bit of extenuating stuff. Now, an open field does not help us as much as I would necessarily like. But we're going to set up as much of a strong front line as we can. We're going to use our Silver Helms to try and get to those Plague Claw catapults if they can. If not, we will send Sunshine to deal with it, because dragon. White Lions. I'm not too worried about the Hell Pit, because we do have White Lions, and they're great against large targets. The real key is going to be surviving the Plague Claw bombardment to the point where our Lothern Sea Guard can do a bunch of arrow damage. We'll set up our true archers behind them. Alright, so I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but we're going to send our Silver Helms out to kind of deal with this. Now we just have to manage to do a fair bit of damage to them. She has a fair number of skills. Let's get the dragon to breathe on them. Alright, it looks like they've left their Plague Claws pretty open, so as soon as those Silver Helms clear those Gutter Runners, go destroy those Plague Catapults. Like I said, we're going to take a fair amount of bombardment damage, but I am actually rather okay with that. Our single infantry units can deal with the Ratmen pretty efficiently. And then it'll come down to using the dragon effectively. Every time the dragon breathes, it alters the battlefield in our favor in a great way. Just roasts a bunch of the ratmen, and now the Plague Claw catapult's pretty much out of the picture. No way that they're going to be able to hold on against Silver Helms. Not when the Silver Helms had the charge.
Silver Helms.
The only real worry here is that our troops are a little exhausted. I'm going to let the Silver Helms keep beating on these catapulteers, see if we can wipe out the unit entirely so they can't re-equip that. And then we'll get them to charge into the rear. Okay, they're completely routed. Let's get them to come over and hit something in the rear ranks. Like I said, this is going to be a bit of a tough job, but we're going to have to just keep doing what we're doing. Those storm vermin are actually a pretty decent target for those Silver Helms. Anything with spears is generally bad for us, but Silver Helms can actually do a fair bit of damage if they can get the rear charge in here.
Guide my bow. Acknowledged. For Asurian.
Now, we're starting to win this fight in the center.
Slay them.
So let's get our dragon involved, see if we can break them a little bit. At this point, I think it's going to come down to morale rather than anything else. Considering their Hellbit abomination, that is really tough to say sometimes. Has been beaten. So right now, it's coming down to just how long we can engage these things. The only things we cannot really toss into the fray full-on are the true archers.
Without fail. Understood. Weapons ready.
Draw back.
Princess of Althorn.
The dragon doesn't have any breathing left available to it, so let's pull her out of combat, get her back in the air, and see if we can breathe on one of these things.
Swordmaster of Poet.
For duty. Acknowledge.
Daughter of Althorn. Cadai, hear me.
Swordmaster of Poet.
Defender of Althorn.
Come on, Sunshine, get back up into the air.
With haste. For Asurian. Advancing.
Get you to use your Reaver bow down there, and then land on these gutter runners.
By your will. Araya.
Northern Seaguard.
Forward. Orders received.
At this point, it is just kill as many of the rats as possible. The more we weaken these stacks, the better off we're going to be, even though a lot of our troops are already starting to break.
Yes. Asur.
What orders?
Draw back.
For order.
Champion of order.
It's the magic from Alchemist Spark that's actually doing most of the real damage.
Archers. For Asurian. Pull back.
None of our troops that have broken thus far have been completely routed.
Understood.
Don't think we can win this straight up, though. but they're taking a definite mauling.
As you say.
Guide my bow.
And since our forces can't retreat, whatever we do here is pretty much whatever we do, so losing Sunshine, not necessarily a good thing, but at the same time,
Northern Sea Guard.
it's a notable sacrifice to maul as many of these troops as we can.
Princess of Ulthuan. It is done.
Acknowledge. For duty.
And this is probably a really bad idea, getting our archers only into combat. Sunshine's starting to break, and there we go. That's pretty much the end of this stack. It was a valiant sacrifice, though. The mauling we gave to them is well worth the cost in troops. Well, I hate saying that overall. Yeah, we lost less than they did. They lost 1,526 ratmen. Dropped that stack down to almost a quarter of its size.
The
And even if they do try to recover, and it does look like we're going to be getting a big fight here. And that's the ambush. There's no way that Fady is going to win it. Just at all. But she did a fair amount of damage before she was wiped out. And this is my unit. We're still going to have to auto-resolve, though. Because there's no way we're winning it. And they just walked through all of our forces. So that's kind of disappointing. That said, though, now we can start taking out some of their troops, and they no longer have the overall forces needed to do anything. And we can destroy Alchemist Spark. Like, even if he takes Lothern, or tries to take Lothern, it's not going to work for him. Where he's going now is a little bit beyond me, though. So Vincat was lost,
Guardian of the Phoenix.
along with a couple other generals, but we pretty much expected that. We saw it coming. So I'm not too worried about it. Now, what are the odds that Grimaldus, he's not going to get to him before they get to the arc span. Probably not going to get to him before he gets to the Shrine of Azuran either. So, with them going up that direction, let's send him out this way to try and track down what's left of Alchemist Spark's unit. Toralier and the Gaian Vale are going to have to hold their own for now. We did lose a fair number of troops, but it is what it is. But we're making 14 grand a turn right now. So let's see what we can get for some of the troops out here. Upkeep. That's actually a really good lord. Well, lady in this case.
defender of the Asur. Time is of the
Toss her in there. Give her a few things to make her a little bit more lethal. And name her after another member of the 232. Now let's get her some troops. A few units of Phoenix Guard. A few units of archers to start with. And we can expand from there. Toralier doesn't really have a lot in the way of foot troops, but has a lot of heroes. So, while they're sitting there, let's give them another unit of Phoenix Guard. A couple units of Sword Masters. And a couple units of Silver Helms. That should help them out a little bit. Again, the focus becomes just hanging on to our 3 ritual cities. Anything aside from that is wasted effort. However, Shini Yang can get some Shadow Warriors. Now, I would be hesitant to use Shadow Warriors in general, because they weren't part of the original thing, but they're so awesome. So we'll let the other nations do what they're going to do. We're probably going to get another couple of fights coming here. In fact, I can almost guarantee it. Now the Order of Lore Masters is significantly stronger than us. So there's no way we're going to get a confederation with them. But you know what? That's fine. That's completely cool. We don't need to worry about confederating with them. They're just another target for all the hostile forces that are out there. Like I said, it's just down to holding on. It's kind of the big hurrah movie moment, so to speak. Losing those generals was a little unfortunate, but again, what came up was the Skaven racial trait that when they initiate attacks, there's odds are it's going to be an ambush. It's because their troops are so incredibly weak in a straight-up fight, as you saw when we were significantly outnumbered and almost beat them. So when they ambush, they get a ton of bonuses, and it really screws up all the other factions that you're fighting against. It's usually better to attack the Skaven than it is to be on the receiving end of their attacks. It's part of the reason why I've never really liked the faction in general. They're so reliant on ambushes and deception that it's not really that much fun for me. I like straight-up fights in a lot of senses. That's probably why I dabbled with the dwarves a little bit, because they're basically one giant walking wall of infantry that doesn't break, backed up by weird steam inventions and cannons. And lots of handguns. I don't think I've ever seen a dwarven army opposite me that didn't have at least 2 units of Thunderers. Thunderers being the handgun dwarves. They're very efficient. Especially when they're shooting at things with heavy armor. So, in other words, every knight I own. Because, you know, armor piercing's a thing. Not a fun thing, but a thing. And he's going to siege Val's Anvil. So we're going to have to destroy Alchemist Spark. And then possibly go down and bail out Val's Anvil. Wonder if those Pirates of Sartosa are actually going to get into the fight with the Druki. What I'd really like to see is the Lore Masters hit Clan Pestilence hard. But I sincerely doubt we're going to see that. At this point, there's no risk of the Druki or the Lizardmen completing their rituals and catching up. There's a slight risk, a tiny risk, of the Ratmen starting their ritual, but we would have to fail ours here for them to have a chance. We're already so far ahead. Now let's see what these guys do. Morphific. Can't believe I can say that name right, but there's other names I can't. No, there's actually a chance we can win this fight. There's a Phoenix in it, Phoenix Guard. It is the Shrine of Azuran, so we're going to fight this one out. And it's kind of wrong that I saw his name as Borat instead of Borath. So, bad movies on the brain? I don't know. I only saw parts of Borat, actually, so I don't even know if it's a good or bad movie. So they're pretty much lined up right opposite us. We're going to use our Illyrians as a harassment force. The Phoenix is going to go after the Plague Claws. Our Phoenix Guard are going to guard the Phoenix Throne by guarding the Phoenix Shrine in a place that worships the Phoenix King. Phoenix was a general who died. I have no idea where I'm going with that, but let's just laugh it up for the lulz. Now I want these Illyrian archers to get into combat as quickly as possible. So let's just pause really quick, get you guys shooting on those clan rats. Send that Phoenix straight on in. And to avoid that Plague Claw causing us too much trouble, we're going to advance. The only really big block they have left is a Storm Vermin.
For duty.
Which means we should probably have our archers hitting that. Let's see if we can get our Phoenix to do a few bombing runs. Alright, now we're coming up to the crunch point, where we're just going to have to charge in and try to obliterate their units in close combat. And now, Phoenix, you can come over and hit that Plague Claw.
Serve the king.
So this is actually working out fairly decently. With the destruction of this stack, which we're probably going to try to see through,
Yes, as you say.
if we can decimate them enough,
Illyrian archers.
then they'll no longer be a threat to any of our structures. I'd really like to kill off Alchemist Spark, or Morphific, whichever one he is. Morphific. Grey Seer, who keeps lightning bolting our troops.
Illyrian archers.
But devastating these guys will definitely help us out in the long run. Might as well zoom in and have a little quick look-see. Storm Vermin versus Phoenix Guard.
Should we run and flee?
They're completely surrounded. I think that's going to do it for this. And the enemy lord is wounded, so we'll just end it and see what ends up happening. I want to save the replay. That was a misclick. 142? Yeah, we decimated what was left of their force. Wounded their lord, killed off most of their rat men. Just good times overall. And of course, we'll do what we have to send them packing. Army stack wasn't completely destroyed. I don't think Calidor's Repose has a very good garrison in it, though. Apparently, it might actually. So Alchemist Spark is gonna go up against Cellophane. Son of Cellophane. Son of Saranrap. Okay, even I'm kind of cringing at that joke. I mean, I say some bad jokes a lot of the time, but even by my standards, that was just cheesy. So we're actually going to try and push forward on this one and deal with them. And our Illyrians are going to go have some fun. By going after that Blood Claw catapult. And our spearmen going to come across. Our archers are going to come across. And our oddly named hero is going to come across.
Illyrian
Why are they moving their Plague Claw forward? I mean, it's not like they really have anything that they can do. And once these are done, we might cavalry charge these gutter runners.
As you say.
Looks like we destroyed their catapult,
Illyrian archers.
which means they're no longer a threat to our infantry. Speaking of our infantry, you guys are going to charge that, you guys are going to charge that, and you archers are going to join our Illyrians.
That's a withdrawal.
It's okay if our Illyrians fall back. I'm perfectly fine with that. Let's speed it up a little bit, see if our troops can get into this fight a little bit quicker. I don't really think there's much chance that they're going to stop us at this point. In fact, I'm pretty positive of it. Though our Illyrians might be needed for other things. Still better than if we tried to auto-resolve this one, because we don't really want to lose a city. And let's send our Illyrians in to deal with that since they're cavalry. So at this point, I think it all comes down to Alchemist Spark. Let's get all of our units going in after him. If we can destroy him, the rest of it doesn't really matter. And the enemy lord is wounded. There's our victory. We'll just end that battle. We don't really need to slaughter that many here, because that army stack is definitely no longer a threat. They lost their Plague Claw, they lost their Lord, and what's left of their units have all been trashed. Down to 54 remaining Ratmen, which the good chaplain will take care of before he goes over to help Falls Anvil. This one, however, we're probably not going to win. Unless he just goes to a raiding stance. Alright, so Troll Skulls are united against us. There's some raiding. And Shredding Talons for our Great Eagles. What else do we have? Let's go with monthly festivals, just because it's quick and simple. Now, Thrin is going to be the definite pain in the butt. So let's get you coming down towards Toraleer. We'll have you guys engage him. Leaving the Gain Veil open a little bit. Not necessarily a great choice, but it does have a pretty large garrison. So I'm not too worried about it. So, Chaplain, buddy,
The Asur follows.
slaughter them.
Duty is its own.
That takes care of that, and you actually gained the level off of it, too. So where were we working on? Woundmaker. Now we're going to get you to come down and head towards him. Genis. You've got a solid infantry line and some archers. Let's get you a little bit of cavalry. We're still making 10 grand per turn. Let's get you a trio of eagles. Kind of tempted here. Well, let's grab some sword masters too. That should work out there. Shrine of Azuran is pretty decently set up. Wonder if we can get a wall established in it before the next turn. Because Scalpite is probably going to attack it too. And of course we have our units up here getting ready to deal with this last massive army stack. But you know guys, we're going to be getting into the thick of it here soon. We've got 12 turns remaining before the Ritual of the Defender is complete. We're going to have to hold on. So that's probably a good place to end it for this week. So if you liked the video, guys, please consider hitting that like button. If you'd like to join up with the 232, our little community, you might see your name pop up in one of these Let's Plays. Just hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn the notifications on so you don't miss when a new video goes out. And remember, guys, life is a game, so play to win. And until next time, take care.